It's the Vupointz. How I sound?
How do I sound?
You don't know how we sound.
Microphone check.
1 2 1
You
2.
don't know. Welcome everybody to the show. It's all about the Vupointz. It's the weekly session.
And we back.
And you know what we say? We say knowledge. Is
power.
So I want to shout out everybody that's tuning in early. I want everybody to remember to like, subscribe, and to follow at Vupointz on all networks. We are live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. If you're tuning in, big up yourself. And if you're tuning in on Instagram, please remember, if you want to get a full visual layout of the thing, it's better that you check out the Facebook page, the YouTube page, or the Twitch. But in the meantime, welcome everybody to the show. My name is Ja Wiggs, and I'm here with my co-hosts,
Brooklyn Big Baby. Yes, honey.
And you don't know, Swagger Man. Back on it. Jada Man, you know what's up.
Yes, Jada Man with him see-through shirt over there, so.
Yeah, my low me sequence.
Is it sequence? There's no sequence on there, Jada Man. What is wrong with you?
Yo, low me, my girl. Low me.
Oh, I see. Hold on. Did Wiggs bring out the... Hold on. Did you bring out the Vupointz shirt, though? That's what we're doing today? Let me see that. Wait, you got to move the hair to the side so people can see that properly.
You're not even... Yo, turn on your mic, bro. Look at this guy. Turn on your mic. Yo, but Brooklyn, how you doing, though? How you doing? How's the day? How's the week? How's the week?
My day was very, very, very long. I stayed very long at work. So I was unable to like switch up and do all that type of stuff because I knew I had to come and give you guys.
You can't hear me now?
Yes, I had to come.
You
give you guys
can't
all
hear me now?
How I drop in and how I do, but as you know, I have my cousin on me always, so I'm happy.
Okay.
That's what I felt like.
So what is it? Hold on one sec. Wait. Is it his anniversary? Anniversary of his passing? What's going on?
No. It was, sometimes when you wake up in the morning and you just feel like their spirit and you just feel them. Some days I just feel like I'm meant to just drive to his gravesite and just go and talk to him. Sometimes I feel like just wearing a shirt that symbolizes him. I just felt it today and yesterday, and I was just like, let me do it. So rest in peace to O'Shea. Love you always, of course, and Kwame, of course. Rest in peace to you guys. So yeah, O'Shea and Kwame for life. You already know. How was your day and week?
Yo, Yeah, some good news. Some good news on some investment stuff. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We can't really load it up,
I was about to
but
say, give me a loan, no man. Not loan, no man.
we can't load it. But some long term stuff. You know what I mean? That game is that investments long term
Yep.
game. Remember, I'm showing you it's long term. You know, it'll turn out the way it's supposed to turn out. You got to be able
Right the
to
waves, my
to
friend. There's
weather
gonna be
and
ups, there's
yeah.
gonna be ups, and there's gonna be downs when it comes to those type of stuff. Investments, when you put, especially when you put your last dime or your last whatever, you know what I mean. And there's ups and there's downs that comes with that. That's just like the stock market too. Like you're taking chances with stuff like that too. Like
Hmm.
today you could be up, tomorrow the market drops, and you're just out. Like you're broke.
But
So
one of the most stable markets is the real estate market. I know we touched that a couple weeks ago, but I'm gonna let you. One of the most stable markets is the real estate market. So all of you that are looking to get into it, do what you can because there's a report that came out that said in the next 2 years in the GTA, house prices are going to be up an average of 275,000. So it's never to come down. Remember, I'm telling you that. So let's figure it out. But yo,
okay,
Wiggums,
I
Wagwan
see
Dada.
you, boss man over there.
None, I just had to
Wiggy.
fix up
Let
the
me
thing.
tell the
I
people
heard
them
you. I heard you guys talking about me. Notice me put
having
on
me
the
a
shirt today.
compliment you on.
Mm.
Put on the shirt today because them say a summertime and a summer body. So you know,
Go out summer bunks now. Buddy is killing me.
so I had to pull out the t-shirt today because our guest today, man, he's I don't know, man. I can't really match up.
Yeah, I seen it. Yo, I'm not even gonna lie. Like the man made me feel like a way. Like I seen the man's picture. I'm like, yo, what's going on here? Like
Yo,
beer,
but you guys
boom,
didn't
boom,
catch.
bow. I was like,
But you guys didn't catch the vibe. Like I was gonna post a flyer this
yo,
morning. I was gonna post a flyer, and I'm like, Benjamin, when I look at the thing, I'm like, yo, I can't even post this thing yet. Benjamin, I had to get up. I had to get up and go for a run around the block before I posted the
Hmm.
flyer. The Benjamin
Yo,
just looking at the thing just motivated me. I was like, yo, we need to do some work. I was like, yo, we need to do some work.
somebody messaged me,
that's a
a
fact.
female, and said, oh, that. Yeah, the way the man, like he's extra dazed, you know what I mean? And so
Yo, bro.
yeah, but summer body thing,
Yo,
summer
just
body.
let her know the Viewpoints dating service opens up in fall. In fall.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the
early.
next
It's early.
Accepting
next round.
applications starting now. We're
Oh, they got it.
accepting applications. We have to go through the applications. Make sure it's all there. Your credentials needs to be there. If you're working, if you're not working, you know what I mean. If you're a cheater, we need to know these
Yo,
things.
imagine all this, and you guys could be getting Muscle Man Mike in trouble right now with all these talks, you know.
Oh yeah. Okay. You know what? Let us leave that till after. We'll find out because we're here. Jada man, you see what you're getting us into? Like we're here trying to play love try. We're trying to be the love boat over here, and not even think if the man has a significant other over there that's probably watching the show right now, saying, "Mm-hmm, that's how
Who them people they are trying to set up me people and me thing.
But you know what? You can now. There's nothing wrong with looking at the menu, right?
Well,
As long as you're not really order, like you can look at the menus there to browse. So people are passing
no,
by. So what are you supposed to do? Walk?
no. Sometimes the menu is so delicious that you
Yeah,
cannot help yourself but
Y-
sample when you go to
yeah,
the grocery store. Sometimes they have
yeah,
a little sample where you can get and taste for yourself and say, yes, or yeah, me don't want it. So
yeah.
with us, it's with us, ours is look at the menu and say, okay, you know what, I need help with my abs. You could be my
Mm,
personal trainer. I need my help with my
okay,
abs. You know what I mean?
that's
That's
where we're
what's on the
going.
menu. We're talking about
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
need
yeah. Well, of course,
arms,
it's
my abs.
business we're
That's his
talking about.
menu.
Yeah,
His
of course,
menu consists of body work, like
body
all of
work
that.
and nutritional tips
Yeah.
and them that menu.
Well,
Yeah, but you see when he does his assessment, he must lift up the body and
Yo,
feel it.
yo,
Yes.
you see, this is what I'm
All
talking
right,
you
about.
I'm
see,
paying up.
This is
yo,
this.
you see Brooklyn.
You see,
We
this is
tried
what
to
I'm
save
talking
him.
about. We,
We
me
tried to
and
save him. We tried to save him,
exactly, and
and
Jada
and
Man's
him got
digging the man a deeper hole. Like literally, me and
Yo,
Wiggin is trying hard for the coffin not to go down, and you are just pushing it down. Just leave it now. Leave the man
Yeah,
all
alone,
right,
gentlemen.
yeah,
all
tell
right.
you,
We
yeah,
good, we
tell
Because
good,
he will
we
fold
good,
you up and place you somewhere. You know that because the
we good,
man has the muscles to do that.
we good, we good, we good.
So,
Mm,
the topic today, the topic
yeah.
today. Did you let them know the topic? The topic. Let me show them the topic. Hold on. Let me let the viewers know. So again, if you're tuning in, big up yourself. If you're watching on Instagram, do remember if you want to get a full visual layout and check out all the hosts and all the guests simultaneously as the show is meant to be laid out, please click the link in the bio and check out Viewpoints on either Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. All the links are there. You can see the list and pick your favorite network because Viewpoints, knowledge is power. We are here for the people. Today's topic, just so you guys are aware of what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
you want to get that summer body.
Oh my god! Oh, I need water. No, that I quench. We need to quench my
Yo,
thirst.
you see, you
Mm,
see, you see why I had to go for a
mm,
jog. I was like, yo, you know what?
mm.
I'm something. Man, I do something right. Man, I do something right.
The man that do vigorous workout.
Right
Yeah,
there.
not the regular, it vigorous.
It-
But yeah, he's here,
That
he's
that
here.
was rude, dog. That was Alta Ada. He could have
He's
sent any picture. Like that's Alta Ada, but
yeah.
water me need that right there. So
it's
see what I
So
mean? Ugh.
so right about this time we usually do what we call vibe of the week for those of you that tune in. So I want to let you all know that every time we're doing the vibe of the week, drop me wigs. Every time we're doing the vibe of the week, it's like some of the channels online they want to drop us, want to drop the circulation of the live feed, right? So we're gonna figure out a new way of how to do it, and they're dropping it because we're using some industry stuff or things that people have copywritten, and we're working that out, all right? Because I know many people like that the vibe of the week, how we just set the tone for the show.
been a nice.
So we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna figure out how to do it so that they don't cut off the feed. You know what I'm saying? So, but for this week, we skipping that one, all right? But if you have any ideas of how we should do vibe of the week, where we won't get cut off, then just let us know. Email us, DM us, send some comments in. You don't know.
So
Is there a way that people, like, for instance, if like to artists, there could be artists that are watching the show that say, "Hey, I have a track that I would love for you to play." Like, is it something that they would have to get clearance from when it comes to their producers? Because if it's just a beat that their producer made, we're able to play it on the YouTube just to make it clear so everybody understands if we're allowed to do that. But say for
So
instance, if they rapped over like an old school beat from like a Noriega beat or something like that, like an old Jay-Z beat, we can't play that because that belongs to whatever. But I'm saying like if a new producer went in the studio and cooked up something and
yeah.
made his own, would the artist be able to, we would be able to play that though?
Yes, so
Okay.
as long as it hasn't gone through the whole forum, the
Mm,
channels of copyright, getting copywritten and digitized, and there's a whole bunch of back end stuff that you do when you're making music, so that
mhm.
you own it and it can be picked up through the
Yeah.
algorithms and stuff like that, right? Even if sometimes even if an artist says, "Yo, play my thing," and their manager, set it up a certain way, it could still get blocked
Yeah.
because they have to go. We just it's a whole bunch of back and
No, no,
forth. Yeah,
no, because I just wanted it to be clear, just in case people want to send in their music. We just want to let them know that what they have to do before they send it in, because we don't want, for instance, if we play somebody's thing and they cut it, we don't want anybody to feel, oh, yo, I sent my stuff in and you guys, I never got a chance to see it. So now we can explain to them, hey, if you do want to send in your music, these are the
exactly.
steps that you kind of have to make sure, check these off
hmm
real quick and send it to us, like stuff
all
like that.
right, all right.
And
So
and
yeah,
and
go ahead, Wigs.
if you do go through those channels, you talk to the necessary people, and you do get your music cleared to play on streaming and on platforms, feel free to send us your music to viewpoints@gmail.com, or you could hit up any one of the hosts in the DM or contact us, through any one of the methods that you know how, and feel free to send us your music. If everything's cleared and everything's good to go, we will play your music. You know, because we're here for the people. We want to feature great
Mhm.
content.
Okay. You heard
Yeah.
that. I heard everybody. And if you guys are not, if you guys still do not understand or you need more clarification, you can always hit us up on Viewpoints and we'll be able to explain more in more detail just for that. So,
And
All
that's
right.
that.
So without further delay, what I think we're gonna do is I think it's time for us to get into we're gonna get into hot topics instead. So it's about that time.
All right.
hey y'all, it's the one and only Brooklyn Big Baby. Yes, and I'm here with the Hot Topics dueling. And as you know, this weekend was extra spicy, a lot going on. So I'm gonna get into the tea and let you guys know what was up. So first, I gotta start with, of course, our Maple Leafs that played against the Montreal. I don't really know hockey like that. But you know, they went unfortunately they brought it to game 7. One thing that I can say is I was really disappointed at the fact that not only the Raptors didn't make it to the playoffs, but now we have our Leafs that are supposed to be in the playoffs doing good, and they did horrible. You know, they were up 3-1 and they allowed them to come back and beat them. Beat them 4-3. So we didn't get them this year, but let's pray and hope for next year. Hopefully they get some great starters and some good people to come on the team to help them to carry them to victory. You know, we have our Blue Jays. Let's hope and pray that they can do something. If not, the Raptors, hopefully they can do it. But as you guys know, they can never pass the second round. They only did once with Kawhi. So it is what it is. Toronto, we got to do better when it comes to our teams. We spend millions and millions of dollars to see these people play. So the least that they can do for us is come out and win, honey, and win us some championships besides the one dega one that we won when Kawhi was here. Like, we need to do better. So on another note, as you guys know, while I'm on the verge of talking, while I'm on the topic of talking about Toronto, I also got to tell you guys, let you guys know, as everyone knows, you know, the stay at home order has finally been lifted for us. Yes, so we're not in the clear as of yet, but we can do a little one pat, not two, because we don't want to get too jumpy. Because we know how Mr. Ford gets when he sees that we're getting too jumpy. You know, when we're about to leap, he takes that pad from us and we got to go right back inside. So we ain't about to do that. So, you know, the stay-at-home order has been lifted. So now people are able to go outside now and enjoy the fresh air a little bit more. But they will be releasing I believe, in the next week when we're actually in phase 1, when things are being more lifted. So, you know, we've been praying, we've been hoping. We're the last people to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But guess what, guys? It's coming. Let's keep having faith. And hopefully this summer we'll all be able to enjoy our barbecues, our families, and our friends out there. So Doug Ford, you need to do better. Trudeau, you already know how I feel about you, and it is what it is. So we're just going to move on to Mrs. Monique, honey. So ladies, this goes out to you guys. I know sometimes when you're going to the airport, or sometimes when you're running to the store, or you want to go to your friend's house to go grab something, you don't really feel like you need to do the whole thing with the makeup and all that type of stuff. And you be going outside with your hair tied, because I do, and with the bonnet, because I do. You know what I mean? But Monique, Mrs. Momo, Auntie Momo, was basically saying that we need to present ourselves properly when we're going out, like when we're going on flights and stuff like that. We shouldn't be in pajamas and hair scarves and bonnets and stuff like that. But me, it's whatever makes you feel comfortable, period. If I'm going to meet my man outside, he's going to meet me the way that I am, because at the end of the day, it's first impressions. I get it. But at the end of the day, if my man meets me with a full face of makeup, a whole beat, guess what he's going to expect every single time after that? A full face beat. And I can't do that. I don't even wear makeup myself, so I can't do that. So I'm going to be myself. Whatever makes me feel comfortable, I'm going to do. I'm not about to wear no tight ass clothes and go on a flight, and at the end of the day, it's a long ass. I don't have time for that. So to Monique and to I would say, you know, to each his own. You may not like it. You don't have to go outside like that. But if somebody else wants to, who is it to you to tell that person otherwise? You don't know what that person's going through. anything like that. They could just be having a lazy day. The kids kept them up all night and they just want to go to the store and grab some milk. No one has time to go put on a wig, a lace front, and do all. Some girls do, but some girls don't. So to ladies, don't be discouraged by what Monique said. It's okay. Just be you, the way you feel. If you feel like you need to go outside in a bonnet to go pick up your newspaper, then that's what you're going to do. As long as the man that you're laying with is fine with it, nobody else should be fine with it. Period. So as you guys know, Mr. Boosie actually, he had a video shoot on recently, and apparently at the video shoot, gunfire erupted and one person was shot. Little Boosie said that he was nowhere shape or form involved in that at all. He was just on set at the time when the situation happened, and right now they're investigating it and stuff like that. So I'm just happy that Boosie was not hurt. I know one person was hurt, so I really do hope and pray that that person actually nothing really bad happened to them. I hope they recover, and things of that nature. But the streets are hot, whether it's out there in the States or in Toronto. The streets are hot, so everybody please be safe out there. There's there's hating people everywhere. You could be doing a video shoot and people don't like the fact that you guys are shining, and they come out and they do whatever they got to do. That's the fastest way to catch an op, is to go on a video shoot. Everybody knows that. So, I don't know if they were hating. I don't know if they had a problem, but I will find out more information. That's my job, and I will let you know. But since if we're talking about gun violence and things of that nature, as you guys know, the baby was, I believe he was in Miami, and there was a shootout where he had to, let off a couple rounds because of the simple fact that, somebody allegedly was targeting him and his peoples, and, out of self-defense, he did react and stuff like that. So to me personally, he does have the right to bear arms. Obviously, you guys know that. And the baby does not play when it comes to that. As you guys know, he had to defend himself once before that, and because it was self-defense, he got there was no charges, no nothing for that. And he's about that. Like he said, I'm not about to be out here blindsided and with my head back wide open for a man to come and get me. Not about to do that. So there were 2 people that were shot. I believe one person passed away. So, he was taken in for questioning, but they did release him the same day that they brought him in. And as of right now, in the media, what they're saying is they have 2 suspects in custody, and the baby is not part of that at all. So right now, the baby is not part of that. Even though it was self-defense, things of that nature. Maybe later down the line we'll hear more, but as of right now, he was nowhere, shape, or form charged with anything at all. And to me, to the rappers, upcoming rappers, things of that nature, I need you guys to be safe in these streets. Like I said, from all the way from Chicago to New York to now Toronto, all over, I need you guys to be safe. Remember that at the end of the day, when you shine in and you grind in, there's always somebody hating on the back end. Always, whether it's in your own camp or it's outside or somebody associated with somebody else, it is what it is. Just make sure you're protected at all times, because your life is precious. You could be here today and gone tomorrow. You know what I mean? Over some petty stuff. And last but not least, before I just wanted to let you guys know, this was a tragic incident that happened. I don't know if you guys know, the Dallas rapper, Little Loaded, passed away at the age of 21. And before he passed away, he actually went on social media, and basically he had like a little, he wrote like a little letter, basically letting people know how he felt and the reason why he wanted to end his life, and things of that nature. He was asking God to open up the pearly gates for him and things like that. It was actually over a girl. This was actually confirmed. It was actually over his ex-girlfriend who allegedly cheated on him, and this was something he couldn't take. He put his all into this female. He loved her. He would do anything for her. There was many conversations he had with his best friend, saying that if she slept with somebody else, he don't know what he would do, and all that type of stuff. So love, trust me, love is a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a word. I know we use it to say, when it comes to sympathy, and when we come to loving people and caring for people use that word, but the word love, a lot of people use it way too lightly. It's used way too lightly. And a lot of people say those things and they don't mean it. You understand what I mean? Some people feel that somebody loves them and then they realize that, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, that person really doesn't love me the way that they treat me, the way that they do this, the way that they do that. And when a woman goes out and steps out in a relationship opposed to a man, it's a wholly different story. Remember, when we tell a guy that we slept with 5 guys, they times that by at least 2 or 5. So they're doubling that. That's 10 to them. We tell them 5, it's 10. To a man, he can sleep with 30 girls and it's not a problem. They get this. Yo, what, homie? That's what we doing. You a pimp, dog. Girls, we're called every name in the book. From thought to hoe to this to that, skank, whatever they want to call us, that's what we are. You understand what I mean? So when it comes to a woman sleeping with a man and cheating on a man, it's totally different. It's totally different. So to his family, Vupointz, we send our condolences out to his family, because no mother ever wants to get that phone call that her son ended his life and things like that. Because he was 20, he was a great upcoming rapper in Dallas. You know what I mean? He was really coming up in the scene. So to hear that he passed away tragically is unfortunate. So to my youngins out there, I just want to say that, I know sometimes it's hard to, when you find love and you feel like you found that person, it's not worth taking your life for, because there's always, just because that person's in your life now doesn't mean that God wants them in your life all for the rest of your lives. God puts people in your life for reasons, for seasons, and to teach you things. Always remember that. So if that man or that woman, that relationship doesn't work, always know that there's somebody else better out there for you. Okay? So that is all I had to say for this week. As you guys know, Hot Topics is always spicy, is always hot. And just remember, I will be back next week with more tea. Mwah!
It's the hot topics. Yo, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm glad you talked about the Monique and the bonnet thing, right? Because
Boy.
Okay.
because
Drop
right.
down wigs. Drop down wigs.
I'm glad you talked about that, because everybody, you can't tell me's a Rasta man, me and my locks and all these
Yeah.
things, right? So sometimes me will put on all under this. Look, you know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So sometimes me might run out of road, and me might not
Yeah.
have the Viewpoints hats, right? But and I understand the comfort. I'm a man. I fly all over the place. You see, when I'm going to the airport,
Yeah.
Bridget, are the comfiest piece of shoes me I look for, and are the comfiest good looking outfit, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go in a suit and all these things. But I hear where she's coming from about putting your best foot forward. I can't lie. I hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me drop me in there. Yo. So I'm a different man still, eh?
Oh my
So
God. We
Brooklyn, we
know he
already
had to
know.
do like
Brooklyn,
a.
we already know.
This man
I
has to bathe everything before him got shop.
yeah. I is a man. Oh God. Listen. So with me now, my thing has to clean all the time, right?
Oh my God.
But here's what she's saying too. Like on the eyes, remember it's the eye test, right? So from when you see with men are done up, yes, you can see we change clothes and maybe clean up the face a little bit, but it's not as drastic as when women are done up all the way and then to where they're done. What do you call it? So there's done up and then there's, what do you call the other end of it? When you're just
Yeah.
when you're just
I,
Pop
dressed down. When
dog.
you're dressed down. When you're dressed down.
yeah, dress down.
When you're dressed down.
Pop dog.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why some people they're just like, hold on, who am I seeing here? Like it looks like completely because the ends of the spectrum is just so far in between, right? But yeah, for me, I like you to put your best foot forward. I tell everybody that. My daughters, everybody, they know that from their little girls. Here, no, 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 fix your hair, da 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 da. No, make sure your shoes are clean. And that's been me, right? Like I know it's been passed from my mom and my dad and my family and stuff like that. But there's a pride in putting your best foot forward and looking your best while you're walking on the road. Some people don't care too, and you could
Yeah,
see it. and you can actually see it. But for me, yeah, man, I hear on that. Look presentable. Put on a proper shirt and look like you're somebody's child. Like that's what my mom would say. And that's not to say, hold on, Brooklyn. That's not to say you're not somebody's child if your hair's all over the place. But just be presentable and step with your best foot forward. That's my thing.
Okay, so what I have to say to that is you
Mm.
can look cute. A lot of girls know how to do their scarves where
Yes,
it looks cute.
true.
It's an accessory where you can do it and you look good. And sometimes even girls do the little baby hairs with their bonnets and stuff because
I
at the
like
end of
that.
the day, you understand there's some
Yeah.
ways where girls make it and you put on some bamboo, you put on some nice hoop earrings and you
Yes.
bring out your face and stuff like that. Like now,
Yes.
first up, when it like, I get it. Like when you're going to like Miami, certain places where when you step off the like Jamaica, all the certain places when you step off, it's
Yeah.
like you have to come like that because it's like a runway. As soon as you come through
Yeah.
the airport, it's a runway. Like Jamaica,
Yeah.
that's why everybody bush out when they go to yacht. As soon as you land, there's
Hmm.
people there. You understand what I mean? It's not like, and then there's people that are taking long ass flights like to Africa and all the. Those type of people don't have time to put on jeans, and those are like 16+ hour flights.
But here's the thing, Brooklyn. You see, if you have other people saying when they see that person and they're like, "Oh my God," like you see,
Yo, okay, no, you're
that's
right.
a problem.
Let
Like,
me give you an
I'm not gonna
example,
lie,
right?
there are a couple
No, let
people
me
that
give you an
I get
example
that
because
too.
just like
Like,
you're saying, like there's times when you'll see a person and you're just like, them comfortable, them all right.
yeah,
yeah,
like
But
you're
like you
too
said,
comfy.
there's times when you're like John or Star.
You literally rolled out your bed and came like you
yeah,
look like your flight, like you were about to miss your flight. You knew it and you threw on anything. Like I get it. I
and that's
get
what
it.
they're
You have to
talking
be
about.
presentable. That's fine. But people like me who don't wear makeup and stuff like that, I can't like girls that can do all the like even the foundation or whatever concealer and just go. I can't do that. Like
Mm.
I'm a tomboy, so me
So,
wearing
Wig,
baggy stuff like is comfy to me.
I hear that, but it was some good topics. So, Wigs,
Yeah.
I need to hear some business talk, man.
Oh,
What's going on?
you're ready? You're
I'm
ready?
ready. I'm
All
ready.
right,
Mine
all
too.
right. Well, you know everybody. My name is Wigs, and the topic your name fine tune your biz. Right. So every week I like to punch in and give my feedback, answer some questions, or answer some comments that we receive from the viewers. Now, in relation to in line with today's topic, a couple of months ago, somebody close to me said to me, Wiggums, you can't just fine tune your biz. You also got to fine tune your mind and your body, because if you're working so hard and you keep working, when you get old, you're not going to be healthy enough to enjoy it. I said to myself, that is so true. That is so correct. So since then, I've been taking time while I'm on the computer for hours at a time. And there's a couple of things that I do to try to keep my mind healthy and my body act healthy while I'm working. So I just wanted to share some of those quick tips that I do with you guys. If you guys are watching and you have an office job or you work from home or you're doing one thing for long periods of time, you could also punch in the comments and let us know what you guys do to stay fit and healthy while you guys are at work. Me myself, when everybody knows I'm into graphic design and all type of computer work. So every so often I like to get up, I like to either walk around my workstation, for a couple minutes, or depending on how long I've been working, I might go outside, take a walk around the block just to get some fresh air and just to clear my mind. um, Other things I like to do are to get up and stretch, just stay active. I like to keep something on the ground so I can keep my foot moving, wiggle my toes. I do little stretches like that while I'm sitting down, just to keep my mind active and keep my body active and my blood flowing. Another thing that I like to do to keep my mind active is when I'm working, I like to either play music or to have some sort of audio playing in the background, whether I'm watching a movie or a TV show. More often than not, it's music, but these are the things that help clear my mind and help keep me in focus. Another thing that I always try to do is make sure I have some sort of healthy snack by my workstation, whether it's some sort of fresh fruit, fresh vegetable, nuts, or grains. Today I got my Guyana fresh coconut juice, and they did not pay for this ad, but health is strength. So I like to keep little healthy snacks like that around my workstation. Again, these are things that keep me energized. The other day I spent some time drying some fruits, and for the whole day I was just sitting down snacking on those dried fruits. About 10 minutes after I eat those fruits, I'm revitalized. I get the energy. My mind is clear and I'm ready to go. So those are just some quick tips to help you fine tune your mind and your body while you fine tune your biz. Thanks for watching. And my name is Wiggs.
I like that one.
Yeah, just some
Yeah,
hold on there.
I like that one. I like that one.
Just giving some tips, because trust me, like enough times I'm in front of the computer for hours and hours at a time. So you got to
Yeah,
find these little strategies that keep the blood flowing and keep everything pumping and energy going.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And even anybody that's working from home, speaking of business, or working from an office, that ergonomical setup, like that's important, for your body. You know what I mean? So that chair, that desk, it's the right height, the right cushion underneath you, supporting your back, that sort of stuff, because in the long term, can mess you up, man, all those hours. But
So
yo, go ahead,
no, no,
Wicks.
no. Go ahead. I was gonna say that it sounds like it's a perfect segue to bring in our guest.
Let's
So you
go.
you go ahead. You go ahead. I'll bring him in and you go ahead.
Yo, right now, we got my man. I'm gonna have him introduce himself, all right? But you seen that D's youth that was in the picture? The extra chisel, like they used a something and knock it. He
Mm-hmm.
is here. He is here, my man's. We go way back. We go back.
Way,
I
way
don't
back.
even 20 plus.
Yeah,
20
man.
plus. You know what it is, my dog. Yo,
Yes,
introduce
yes.
yourself, big man.
What's
Introduce
up,
yourself.
everybody? I'm Mike, Muscle Coach Mike. I'm a personal trainer, fitness educator. I bodybuild myself. Yeah, that's me. That's my thing. Yeah, I know my homeboy Jada for a long time. Thank you guys for having me on the show, Brooklyn. Jay Wiggs, appreciate it. Thank you for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Love what you guys are doing here, for real.
Respect,
Thank
respect.
you.
Mm,
For
So
sure.
well, it's glad to have you on the platform. I
yes,
just want to
sir.
say, I respect what you're doing to the max because I
Yeah.
have a cousin. Well, I have an uncle. Um,
Okay.
who was actually into bodybuilding when he was like younger too, and
Yeah.
I can't remember the accolade that he had, but
Okay.
he has like a picture in his house where he won one of those Mr. something something in
Yeah.
Canada
Yeah. Yeah.
from like back then. And like as a kid I always remember like that about my uncle, and like as
Yeah.
an older guy he always maintained that fitness, and things loosen up, but you can still
Yeah.
you can look at somebody and see, you look, this guy looks like
Yeah.
he's in shape. So I just
For
want to
sure.
commend you on that, definitely.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of hard work. It's been a learning experience. It's been a long journey, a lot of ups and a lot of downs, a lot of mistake, a lot of wasted time. And when I shouldn't say wasted time, a lot of opportunities, a lot of learning opportunities, right? Um, yeah, but I'm here now, and that's, I guess, why I got into this. I just wanted to help people, right? I saw opportunity from everything that I learned, and I want to help people.
So definitely. So let me ask you a quick question just to get it started off, right?
Come on.
um we always hear this term, summer body. I got it.
Mhm.
March, April, May, everybody's like, yo, it's time to get that summer body. Everybody's watching whatever. So tell
Mhm.
me, what is a summer body?
Well, I'm gonna try and be I'm gonna be brutally honest, and I'm also gonna be politically correct and give my opinion. Okay, so don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you my opinion. All right, it's just my opinion.
Don't worry, we won't hold you. We
Um,
won't hold you.
well, I don't know who's watching, so people might catch feelings. Don't shoot me. I'm not the problem here. I'm just telling you how I feel, man. To me, what a summer body is just your body that you're most comfortable in. right? It's hot outside in the summer. You want to have less comfort. You're gonna have less clothes on more than likely, and you don't want to be hiding. You want to be able to go to the beach and not feel away. Whatever that is and whatever that looks like to you. That's what a summer body is. That's the basic way of saying it, right? That's my most the most yeah, that's the most cleanest basic way that I can say it. It's whatever
I
you
like
feel
that.
comfortable with.
I like that.
Because fit it looks different for everybody. You know what I mean? Like if my ideal, again, if I'm speaking to the opposite sex, my ideal of the perfect summer body for a girl, I don't like super shredded abs and stuff. Like that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I like a little bit of fluff on you. You know what I mean? For some other people, for some girls, they feel like really comfortable having like diced up this and diced up that, and that's cool. It's
yeah.
whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I would. You know what? I would not. Me personally, I would not have even come up with that definition myself. But I think you
Mm,
actually gave the perfect definition because, like you said, to everybody it might be a little different. Now, there's some
sure.
people I know. As soon as it comes springtime, to them when they're talking about summer body, it just simply means I just got to lose 10 pounds and I got to start
Hmm.
eating right. It doesn't mean
Sure.
I got to lose 100 pounds and I got to be a
Yeah.
swimsuit model. It just means all
Yeah.
right. Summertime, start to get in shape.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, see, and that's my thing too. So, all the time, I have people come to me and say, "Okay, you know what? Like, Caravana's around the way, Mike. I have to look good." And I'm like, "Okay, Caravana's in what, like 8 weeks?" I'm like, "What are you trying to do in 8 weeks? What are you trying to do in 8 weeks? What are you trying to do?" Right? Like, and then when you lay out the work that needs to be done for the give them the look that they want, it's just like that to me is not really a summer body. That's you like forcing something. That's not.
Yeah,
It's not. It doesn't seem authentic. That's not your authentic body. That's you getting ready for a specific event. That's not a summer body. You know what I mean? I think what I would hope for and what I try to teach my clients and people is to try to live just a general healthy lifestyle. You shouldn't need to cut 50 pounds, 80 pounds so that you look good in the summer. You just change a little here, a little bit there, and you're good. You know?
Queen
So
all season body. It's called the all season body.
You
Yeah,
see?
go like
Mm-hmm.
not just summertime. You want to
Yeah.
look all year round and feel healthy.
Yeah.
365 days for the year. So thank you for saying
Yeah.
that. CJ
Right,
man
right,
told me
right.
it was such a thing.
so hold on, let me ask you something.
Mm.
So when you're saying a general, just live a general, have a general healthy
The
body
sequence looks fresh, by
lifestyle.
the way. The
Oh, you like
sequence
the
looks
sequence?
fresh.
Yeah, yeah, you
It's
like
not
that.
sequence. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my god.
So when
Yeah.
so to have that health, that generalized healthy lifestyle, what does that look like? Does that mean that, hey, I can walk up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing? I could run down the street to catch the bus without dropping down. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
What does a general healthy, lifestyle look like?
Yeah. Good question. So I think again that's gonna look different. I don't want to give you guys like garbage answers, but I'm just being honest. That looks very different for everybody. For example, I have this lady that she's been with me for 3 years. When she started, like kneeling down and standing up was a problem for her. Now she can like pick up her grandkids. She can play with her dog. Like she's not tired. That's healthy for her. You know, but then you have people that are like athletes, and if they can't run for 100 meters or run around the track once, to them that's out of shape, and rightfully so, because in their lifestyle and what they do every day, that's not their standard, and that's a floating standard, right? It's fluid. It's going to change from time to time. I think mostly, like when I say a healthy lifestyle, or what's healthy to me, is just when you look at markers like your insulin levels, like where are you in like your body fat percentage, where are you with like how well you move, are you having a lot of pains when you move, are you sleeping well, how's your stress level, how, like all of that, as Jay said earlier, like when you talk about like health, it's like, or your business and stuff, like your body is, and your mind is part of health too, right? So that in a whole, to me, means health, right? When you're sleeping well, when you're not stressed, when you're moving around without a ton of pain, and you can do normal things and not be out of breath. You can pick up your kids, you can walk up a flight of stairs, and you're like, I'm good, right? And when you look at like the markers of your body fat percentage and your insulin levels and your hormones and all of those things, that's that big picture is what tells me that you're healthy.
Yeah, it makes sense. Again, like you said, everybody's gonna have a different definition of what their standard of health is. So, I guess as a trainer, you get that a lot. You get a lot of different. You got to tailor your everybody's workout differently.
For
Um,
sure.
again,
Even for me, like, again, being a bodybuilder, like there's times I look back at pictures now, and I like, since COVID and everything, like, at one point, like, I didn't have a gym to train it and everything. So like I look at myself now, and then I look at myself, while I was preparing for a show, and I remember at the like going back at that time and be like, oh man, like nothing's happening, I'm out of shape. And now I look at those pictures, I'm like, damn, like that was I would be all right with that right now. So again, it changes with time.
So, okay, let me drop another question here. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get all of that fluffy stuff that you're giving us right now. All right,
Right.
which is real,
Yeah.
which is real, which is real. Drop me in there, Wigs, which is real, and I get it. But when we step out into the public, right?
Hmm.
They're people. We're visual beings, right? And creatures, right?
Right.
And people that have this summer body
Hmm.
tend to get the attention, right? So people are
Yeah.
striving for it, right? So they're looking at
Hmm.
celebrities, they're looking at socialites and different things like that, or even younger people, because even
Hmm.
that, how our body changes. I would love for you to get into that too. You know what I mean? At
Yeah.
certain ages, the body
Yeah.
just changes, and it's hard to get it back. Um, but so here's the question. But Wiggums, mark that one down about the changing bodies, all right? So here's where I want to go. So with what people see on social media, the Kim Kardashians and
Hmm.
whoever else they see, is that so? Does that cost a lot to look like that? So when I say cost, do you have to get the most expensive trainer in the world and maybe literally body parts, or can you actually look like that with hard work?
Okay. So that's a you. I think you tried to narrow that down, and it's still a very broad question.
look
Okay,
at the
here,
So
comments
first of
there.
all, Kim Kardashian, you have to have a whole heap of money for that.
Wally.
That's a
Enough money for that.
one money.
Okay. That's a whole bunch of money, and I think this question is a very touchy question for me, and the reason why is because as like a professional and me, I'm always trying to learn. I spend a lot of money, I do a lot of reading, I download articles and like case studies and factual information. So when I give somebody something, or when I say something to somebody, it is no bullshit. I don't know if we can curse on the show, but it's no garbage. And
Little
what
bit,
I
little bit.
see,
We edit
yeah,
this
so
out, man. We're good.
what I see with a lot of influencers is like, firstly, their pictures are filtered crazy. They know how to, they take a million pictures to look a certain way. They know how to contort their body, put the weight on this leg, bend the hip out this way, tilt the head back this way. And then you're like, yo, when you see them in person, you're like, you look like a sack of potatoes. That's not what you look like, right? Like, so, like, yes, if you want to look like Kim Kardashian, that's gonna cost you some money, right? And it depends on like your genetic makeup, right? Like some people, they just carry fat in the right places, and some people don't. Can you get into great shape for cheap? Pretty much, yeah. I think a lot of people, that's one of the biggest myths, is that it costs so much. But when you factor in how much people, like how much we spend on going out and getting food, how much money we spend on liquor, how much money we spend on like clothes that don't really matter. Like, Your body matters a lot more than the clothes that is going on top of it. You know what I mean? So take care of that first. So when we factor in all of those things that we just spend money on, no, it's not expensive to just eat properly. It's really not.
So
Yeah,
why do you? Oh, sorry.
oh no, let me. I just want to touch on the eating part.
Hmm.
You know what? It actually makes sense what you're saying, because like over the past year, I've been doing a lot of like juicing, like with fresh fruit juices and all that. Right now,
Hmm.
and I seen my graduation, because I started off like just like buying fresh fruit juices, right? Then
Yeah.
I said to myself, you know what? Like the amount I'm spending on buying other people's juices, I might as well just go buy a
Yeah.
juicer, right? So I started off with a centrifugal juicer, got that, started reading, and then I'm like, why did I even spend the money on this one? I should have just waited a next month and got a masticating juicer.
Yeah.
So now I got that one. You know what I'm saving up for right now? A cold press.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
That's the
again,
ultimate.
it's worth the investment in your health.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say there's three things I say that you don't chintz out on. Don't be cheap on the food that you're putting in your body. Don't be cheap on the bed that you're gonna sleep on, and don't be cheap on the food on the shoes that are going on your feet. And when I say cheap by food shoes that are going on your feet, me nah say for buy na Jordan. I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, right? That like you spend a lot of time on your feet. Again, where this is about fitness, right? You spend a lot of time on your feet. That's what's grounding you to the earth, right? Everything else that's affecting your body is gonna come through your feet. Because
Mhm.
that's what everything is balanced on. That's what everything is being pressed on, right? So your alignment of your feet, the way they articulate, how you walk, that's going to tell you, that's going to potentially cause knee problems, hip problems, back
Never thought
problems,
about
neck
that.
problems, all of that, right? So don't cheap out on that. You spend tons of time on your bed, right? A lot of people, they can't lose weight and they're trying to figure out, oh my God, I'm eating this way, I'm eating that way, but they're not sleeping properly, right? You spend so much time on your bed. Don't cheap out on it. And then your food, same thing, right? Like that's going inside your body. If you might as well eat out of a garbage bin if you don't really business what's going on in your body, right? Go eat out the garbage bin.
The rest of go Yamota garbage bin.
That's the truth.
So when it
Yeah.
comes, so when it comes to things like that, right? People spending money X and Y and Z, whether it's to alter their bodies
Yeah,
or anything of that nature. Why do you think that people find themselves trying to achieve these goals that sometimes they can't
yeah.
obtain
Well, like
or achieve?
so let me just say this too. I wanna make sure I clarify this. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with getting anything done to your body. You do you. All right. I'm in no place to judge if somebody's not happy with something on their body and they want to change it. I don't have any qualms with it. I think that a lot of people are like this has become more popular now because of social media. Like we just said, social media, and it's almost like being pushed as like the norm, right? And it's really it's not the norm. And I think a lot of women, I could be wrong. I'm not a woman, obviously, but I think a lot of women feel like I have to do this to like to like meet the standard,
Yeah.
right?
To even the
And
playing field. To
to
even the
even the
playing field.
playing field.
Yeah.
And the joke is a lot of us men are like, but we don't even really want all of that though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, I could be
Mhm.
So
speaking for
when
myself, but a lot of times I'm like, yeah, I like a
No,
fat
but
ass. I
it's
like a
true.
fat ass,
It's
but
true,
I
because
don't need all that.
it's true. Just last week, I brought it up, and we were with somebody brought up stretch marks, and I was saying, and I was telling somebody, to be honest
me,
with you,
I said, be proud of your stretch
yeah,
marks.
you were saying,
Yeah,
and I was like, trust me, as guys, or the guys I know, we don't mind the stretch marks. Them, you know what I mean?
you remember that Cat Williams episode. Either you was big and
Yeah,
got
that's what
small,
I
or you
said.
was
Or you
small
were
and got
small
big.
and you got big.
Either way, we still
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same
right.
thing Brooklyn
But
said last week.
it's
I
one
don't
of those
care.
things where we were also talking about, like, because we're talking about like alterations and stuff like that before we get into
Yeah,
the, like, I just need you to touch on, because there was, I know you do a lot of training with women and men, but mainly with the women when they're wearing the waist trainers. How 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 bad is that for their health? Is that something, wearing a waist trainer, is that something that can harm them? You find can harm them? Do you find that the waist trainer does help with their figure that they're trying to achieve, or
Yeah.
what
So
would you say on that?
I would say, sorry, I would say that it does help. It does help, like bringing your waist, keep your waist tight. But yeah, it can be harmful because we're it's like a corset, right? Pretty much, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
pushing all of your organs together and like compressing them. I just don't. I don't have any clinical like evidence to support that, but
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about that logically, it just doesn't. That doesn't completely sound like it's totally healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we
We
had
had
a
a
young
specialist
lady
on that.
that's just right that step right under a doctor, and
yeah,
so she's working on it. But she said, yeah, she just dropped it. She was like, yeah, just to let you guys know, waist trainers aren't healthy. And she said the
yeah,
exact same
yeah,
thing with the organs. And so
Exact
natural,
same
like
thing.
you got to think about it, like naturally were we created to
right,
squeeze in our our waist and our hips and bend everything and have them touching and stuff like that. So
yeah. Like, and to add to this, like for the ladies that are getting their waist trainer or whatever, like I would say there's a way to create any illusion that you want. If you want like a certain like silhouette and to have these curves, then like build out other parts so that you can have that look. You know
Ah.
what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
So all right,
It's
Can you elaborate on that a
yeah,
little
go ahead.
bit?
so okay, so for example, let's say if your waist is a little bit like wider, right? And you want to have this like nice Coca-Cola bottle shape, right? Then that means that okay, if we can't make our waist bigger, maybe we can make maybe we can build out the side of our legs a little bit. Maybe we can build our hips out a little bit. Maybe if we build out our back, and I'm not saying that you need to have no Hulk back, but if you build widen out your back and give yourself a tapered look, now you have these wider shoulders and your waist starts to come in and look smaller. So you have an illusion that your waist is smaller.
Ladies, ladies,
Oh,
ladies, I hope you people, I hope the viewers are taking notes here because you
I
guys are
am.
getting some gold right now. So
Thank you.
so muscle
Beautiful
coach
pen.
Mike, let me ask you a quick
Mhm,
question. Because
mhm.
when we posted the topic,
Yes,
we
sir.
shot out some questions, and a couple girls hit me up and they said they want to know. They said how do you ask him how I lose my stomach but not my butt? Now
Okay.
I said I don't know if he's gonna be able to give you all the tips, but I said I'm gonna ask him. I said I'll ask him.
Well, good question. This is a common one, and I'll give this away. I don't care. I give my anybody can ask me anything. I'll give away my best shit. I don't really care. Um, you can't really do that. To be honest, you can't really do that.
I knew
You
that.
can't you
I knew
can't
it
you
because
can't you can't spot reduce. You can't tell your body, I want to
He
lose
said
fat
stop.
from this here piece on my wrist.
Just
Right,
right.
yes, on my wrist, just this piece. I want to lose fat from here. You can't do that. Right? You don't get to decide that.
yeah.
One of the most frustrating things, like competing for myself, is that I would start to get in shape and every part of me would like be ready, but my lower back would have this little bit of fat and water there, and I would have to work so long, much longer and so much harder just to get rid of
Get
that little spot.
that last little
That
piece.
last little spot. Everywhere else is fine, but that last little spot. So again, to answer your question, you can't do that. Now, to give you the tip or the workaround with that, it's the same thing. You can create the illusion. So what you do is you build more muscle under your butt. So your butt still can look big. And even if you don't want to have a muscular butt, but even when the fat covers it, it will be bigger because there's more muscle underneath there. That makes sense?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it definitely makes sense. It definitely makes sense. It
Yeah.
definitely makes sense because, like you said, like your body is not just well, okay, da, 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 da. You know what I mean? It just don't work like that.
Yeah, that's what lipo is.
So
Yeah.
look, I have a question from one of the viewers.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't
Mhm.
I don't even want to ask the question, but I'm gonna put it up here. We're
Mhm.
looking to demystify a myth if it's possible, and we're not
Yes.
talking about personal information, experiences.
Yes.
But Hot Fire can't cool. She says when she sees a buff man, her notion is that their private parts have shrunken. We've, we've all heard it. We've all heard it. We've all heard
Oh
it.
man.
So,
Oh man.
is this a myth? Like, why do people say this? Like, what's the
Okay.
deal?
Okay. So the myth of that. Oh, this is an
Yo,
interesting one to
Bridget,
talk
is
about.
it a
So the myth
is it
of
a
that.
myth?
So well, okay. I'm gonna tell. I'm not gonna say it's a myth or anything. I'm gonna give you my explanation on why I think people say this. So I think this came from is the use of performance enhancement drugs. So when you use
Yeah, that
performance
makes sense.
enhancement drugs, they shut down your pituitary gland. They shut down your natural producing testosterone. So this shrinks your testicles, not your dick. It shrinks your
Oh,
testicles.
oh, the
So I
ball
think
spot.
right, because if your body is getting something exogenous hormones and it's saying, well, I don't need to produce this anymore, then what your balls are like, well, I don't need to produce any more
Okay,
semen.
so
So I
Mike,
don't need
so
to.
you know what? Now that you say it, it makes sense because if it's about the testosterone and things like that, I'm thinking
Mm,
in my head now, and I'm saying to myself, okay, that's why the female bodybuilders, they don't have estrogen and testosterone, so their visible parts are usually less noticeable than the non-bodybuilding ladies. I'm trying to be politically correct,
right, right,
Yes.
so that's the
right,
same
Okay.
thing, I guess, right?
right. So again, I'm not saying it's a myth or I'm removing myself personally from this conversation, but I'm saying I think that came from using performance enhancement drugs and the testicles shrinking
Yeah.
from again stimulant like the body not having the need to produce the necessary hormones to keep your testicles going. They shut down,
So if you're
right?
if you're listening to the show, we've just given you our viewpoints opinion. We're not saying this is gold, but this is why we think that myth may have come around because
That's
of
all I'm saying.
that's all Mike says you say
That's all
on
I'm
the
saying.
matter. And with that, we're gonna go on to the next question.
All right.
All right. Let me ask you something, Big Mike. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have said big right after that. That pause.
Pause. Pause.
Pause.
Pause.
Hold
Pause.
Mike, pause. Pause. What do you mean?
Pause. Panda. All right. Yo. Okay. So you have people that are working out, working out, working out week after week. I know specifically with women. A lot of women, they want the results right away. Like it's because I've worked out with women, different women, and it's just like they can't, like, the motivation doesn't stay because they're not seeing results as quickly as maybe us, right? We bench press a couple times and we, holy, the shirt starts lifting up and everything. So how can they, what is that about, and how could they stay motivated? What do they need to do to stay motivated to stay in the gym and get those
Okay.
results? Yeah.
Good question. So let me first say it's not just women. Men do the same thing. I have the same problem with men too. May Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm
Okay.
gonna say men have the same problem too. And when you say like, when we lift out, you might be referring to yourself. I remember back in high school, like I remember, you were
Yeah,
a
with
buff one.
these yeah,
Yeah,
with these up.
yeah, yeah. So it's not just women. It's I would say to answer the question though, I would say it takes time. It does take time. Your body doesn't get there like overnight. You don't just wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I can't fit into nothing anymore. Um, so it takes time. What what I'm trying to find. There's a lot of ways to answer this question. It's gonna take time. So what I would do first is I'd look at like your nutrition first and starting to eat more. The biggest problem that I find with people not losing weight is two things. A, they're inconsistent or they're not eating enough food. Ironically, they're not eating enough food and their metabolism slows down. So you want to address that first. And that means you have to start eating more. And that might mean you might even put on weight at the beginning for a little bit. And it doesn't need to be a lot of weight, but it might be a pound or two. and it takes a
So how
little
does
bit of
that
time.
work? So how does that work? You eating more? How does it
David,
Yeah.
equate
yeah.
to you losing weight?
Right. So like it again, so it just means you're trying to adjust your metabolism, right? So you're when you don't eat a lot, your body starts to acclimate to that. And acclimate, what I mean by that is it starts to slow down because it doesn't know when you're gonna feed it. So it tries to hold on to food a little bit longer, starts to process things a little bit slower, right? And you start to have less energy. You start to not move around as much. And you may not notice it, but it does happen. So what I would say first is like when you're looking to lose weight, firstly, understand how much like where you're at right now. What does your body need to function? Right? If for me, for example, I think I need like 3,700 calories. I'm almost 300 pounds now. So I take like 3,700 calories. I just need that to just function. That's what I need. If I start throwing in like, okay, now I need to work out, I have an active job, I do cardio, yet those calories now to all need to be accounted for. So I need to start, the first thing I need to do of like, again, if I came to myself, I would be like, okay, this is how much you weigh. This is how much calories you should be eating. If I tell you now, or if I tell myself, oh, well, I only eat 2 McDonald's combos a day, it's 1,600 calories. I can't do anything with that, right? You're that's like taking, what do they say, water from a stone or blood from a stone. I can't pull any calories from that because I'm already not eating anything pretty much. So I need to get acclimated. I need to get accustomed to eating more food so that when I start doing this work and my metabolism speeds up, I have something to take away. I have something to pull from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. It's like you're overloading a little bit because you know you're gonna burn some out before you get to where you want to be.
Right. So I have to it's like you can't drive a car on empty, right? I have to fill the tank before I drive the car,
Yeah.
right? So that's what it is. So you need to start eating more first and then start putting in the work, right? Start putting in the work, start training, start doing your cardio, and stay active. Just stay active. Now, you asked about being motivated. What I would say is there's so many different markers and so many different ways to stay motivated. And I like to use a scale, but I also know that that's not going to tell me the whole picture. And I also know that a lot of people get like they're demotivated by looking at a scale. So if you're a person that you're going to get like frustrated and lose confidence and not want to train or think that whatever you're doing is not working, then maybe you don't use a scale. Maybe you use measurement. Maybe you use like a piece of a pair of jeans that you haven't been able to fit into, and every week you try them on. You're like, oh, this week I can zip it up. Oh, this week I could get it over my leg. Oh, this week I could button it up. And that's the way that you stay motivated. Or maybe it's pictures, because like again, going back to the scale, like that doesn't always tell the full story. Right? I know that I've dieted times and like I've lost weight at times, or I've gotten lean at times, I should say. And I watch a scale and nothing's changing. But I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, my body's definitely changing, but the scale has not changed. Right. And on the flip side to that, in a day, your body can go up and down 10 pounds. There's a lot of variables to it, right? So, again, if you have a stressful day, your cortisol level goes up, you hold more water, maybe you didn't use the bathroom that day, you didn't sleep well, you ate your meals late or too early. And now all of a sudden, you weigh yourself one day, then you weigh yourself the next day, and you're up 5 pounds. You're like, well, what happened? Nothing happened. You're still losing weight. It's just that you ate your food late, you didn't rest, and you're super stressed out. So that's all it is, right? So take into account like losing weight and getting in shape is a trend, right? You're not going to see consistent weight loss. Your weight's going to kind of fluctuate and trend down, right? But again, if the scale is not going to be your thing, if that's not going to keep you motivated, then use a marker that's going to keep you motivated, and use a reward system. I don't know if anybody's read the book Atomic Habits, but use a reward system that is conducive to your goal. So you could say something like, okay, if I lose weight this week, or if I lose an inch off my waist, I'm going to buy those J's that I want. Or if I am able to fit into these jeans, I'm going to spend a little bit more money and buy these other jeans that I really want, right? And you keep rewarding yourself with, not like, it wouldn't be conducive to reward yourself with, I'm going to go to McDonald's and order everything off the menu, because that's not going to help with your goal, right? So use a reward system that's going to help toward your goal.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That makes sense about the reward system. And you know what I've actually heard as well. I hear a lot of people saying they get the reward from just working out itself,
Yeah,
and then just from hearing on social media, I've heard that our body releases, like, what is it, dopamine or whatever, when you
serotonin and
work out,
dopamine.
that
Yeah.
makes you feel good. Can you talk about that?
Well, okay. So the biggest, like, this has been the most, like, how should I say it? Like, noticeable moment was during this pandemic. So when I started working out, this is like a long time ago. It was hard for me to relate to people that couldn't work out, because it was just one day I got up and I was like, man, I am out of shape. I can't do this anymore. And I just went to the gym and I just never stopped training since. Always training. But when this pandemic hit, I had to stop training. And I noticed that, like, I almost got like depressed. I got like miserable. I was really down. I started to like drink. I just kind of let myself go.
Yeah.
And as soon as I like started training again, I noticed that, well, I didn't even notice at first. I was in a better mood. And then there'd be like a week where I just wouldn't train. And then I would go back to the gym and I'd train. And immediately after, I noticed one day, I'm like, oh, I feel good again. I wonder if
You're
it's the
actually
training. It might
noticing
be,
it. Yeah, that's
yeah, it might
crazy.
be the training. It might be the training. And then every time, I just noticed that every time I was feeling like, yeah, not too great, I would go to the gym, train, and immediately after, I would feel good. So yeah, there are chemicals that are released when you're moving. Big movement is it makes you happy. I'll never forget, I was at this Tony Robbins seminar, and he kind of described, like, if you meet somebody and you don't really, you're not really vibing this person, too like them. When you buck them, you're like, oh yeah, what's up, and you're trying to move on and keep it pushing, right? But when you link up with your friend from 15 years, 20 years, and you haven't seen them, your movements are way bigger. They're exaggerated. Yo, wagwan, blah blah blah, and there's so if you even just look at that instance, you can see that big
Yeah,
movement is tied to emotion,
that's
right?
so true.
When we're down and we're sad, we don't really move
We
big.
move
we
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 move
slow
slow, we
down,
drag,
and
we're like,
our posture changes, our voice gets low, or we breathe different, you know what I'm saying? But when you're hyped up and you're happy, yo, you're moving, you know what I mean? You're jumping,
yeah. I
everything's
never, I
quicker,
never, I
everything's
never related it
exaggerated.
like that. So yeah, thanks. I
Yeah.
never even thought about it like that.
Yeah, so that like always stuck with me. And then again, just when I just, it was the biggest like moment for me to notice. It was just like in the last like few months when we opened back up, where I started to train. I'm like, oh, every time I train, I really do feel better right after. And it's crazy, because like, when you're, sometimes it's the hardest thing is to just get there, right? Like just getting up out of the couch and being like, yo, man, I have to hit the gym now. You know what I'm saying? So getting up, it's not really the greatest. And then you get there and you're like, okay, you do 1, 2 movements and you're like, okay, this is cool or whatever. Then you're into it. And then before you know it, you leave and you're like, yo, I feel bomb. Yo, I'm ready. What's up? What's good? You know
Mike,
what I'm saying?
let me say something. You're right. You see, um, when you're trying to, okay, so working out itself, it's a
Mhm.
task for a lot of people, right? It's like a
Yeah.
job. It's
Yeah.
literally like a job. They just can't
Mhm.
mentally get themselves there, right? And
Mhm.
even the changing part, going to change. By the time you put on you're ready to leave, right?
Yeah.
It took so the drive, the changing, all that stuff. So here's where I'm gonna go. And then on the other end, there's people that try to work out at home, and that's almost worse. That's a lot
Yeah.
worse because a lot of people can't work out at home successfully
Mhm.
over consecutive days and stuff. So for
Yeah.
somebody that has a problem or that mental block with getting up and working out at home or going to the gym, what are we recommending? Because they do need to get active. You talked about all these health
Yeah.
benefits and yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm going to give two answers to that. So active, Active could look very different. You know, it just means sometimes you have to move with intent. So what I mean by that is like you could just say, okay, I'm going to mow the lawn today and I'm going to rake the leaves and I'm going to do it like purposefully. I'm not just going to mosey on through this. I'm going to rake these leaves up and I'm going to time myself and try and do it as fast as I can. So it could look very different. It could mean I'm going to play around with like my kids of basketball and I'm going to push myself, or I'm going to shovel the snow. You know what I'm saying? So staying active is kind of your bread and butter, especially with losing weight. That's where most of your calories are going to be burned, not on a cardio machine. Okay, I'll tell you that from now. But in terms of your workout now, you're absolutely right. I tried it myself. It's very hard. There's too many distractions. Before you know it, you're like, oh, you know what? Well, let me just wash up these dishes. Let me just throw in a load of clothes. Oh, this show is on. And then you're distracted and 15 minutes has gone by and you're like, well, you know, I might as well work out tomorrow because I've already messed it up. So I would say try to keep your workspace where you're going to work out different. Maybe it means going to a school around the corner. Maybe it means you go to your brethren's house, Bunford. You can tell you if stay at home. Go to your brethren's house
Just
or
change
whatever.
your setting. I think that
Change your
definitely.
setting. Yeah, you know, change your settings. Get out of wherever you are. Wherever it is that you're doing, you're comfortable in. You know what I mean? If you're always laying down in your couch, it's very hard to dissociate the activity of laying down on your couch when you're in your living room. Some people can do it, but it's hard to do that. And if it's that hard for you, and if you're finding it way too challenging, go somewhere else. Go into your basement, go to your backyard, go into the shed, go somewhere different where the space is just different. That would be your biggest, that's going to be a big win for you, just going somewhere different.
So let me punch in and ask you a question there. So, in terms of, since we're talking about like working out from home, if that's your setting, I've seen
Mm,
over the last year, a lot of these devices like the Peloton and these
mm,
devices that are connected to your internet. You know, you hook it up
yeah.
to your TV, your bike. What's Muscle Coach's Mike's take on that, on those type of apparatuses
Um,
or
I
workout
mix.
plans, I should say?
I have mixed emotions about it. I mean, if it gets you moving and you're doing something, it's better than nothing. You know, my the biggest pet peeve, the one thing that I'm gonna use the strong word and say hate. The one thing that I hate, I can't explain it enough. I can't express it well enough. Is just someone that just like jumps on a cardio machine. That's all they do. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it for the life of me. God, just give me the
Like,
strength to just
spend
like
20
deal
minutes
with
on the
something.
cardio today. I just bought a cardio machine. I'm gonna go do
Yeah,
20 minutes.
nah, B. That's gonna be a no for me, dog. That's gonna be a no for me. Nah, nah. Don't talk to me about just you were just on the
So
cardio
so
machine.
tell me, so tell us why. Is that like a the easy way out, just to act like you're getting fit, or what's the deal?
The thing about that is that cardio alone is great, like for your cardiovascular systems. But what about your muscles? Like your muscles is what moves your body, right? Let me say that again. Your muscle is what moves your body, and you're just gonna just it's great that you take care of your heart, but the muscles that you move your body, you're not going to take care of those. A lot of pain that we have as we get older and stuff that happens, it's because we're not training muscles and things are in balance and they're not working well anymore, right? They're either facilitated, what we would say facilitated, they're like bounded up, or they're just weak, right? And if they're weak, then chances are there's this guy that he's really big into like training, and his phrases things that are weak break, right? And that's the truth. Like if you're weak, you're gonna break.
It's a fair
And doing a
assessment.
hmm?
No, I said that's a fair assessment there.
Right. And if you're doing a bunch of cardio, you're gonna consider a ton. If you start doing a ton of cardio, you're going to eat away at muscle. Everybody knows this, right? There are no marathon runners that look jacked. The day I see that, I stopped training. But today, up till today, we don't know any marathon runners that are jacked, right? And
True.
but they train, right? They train and they have some muscles to them, and that's cool, right? But they don't just run. They don't just run, and that's their profession anyway. It is to just run, right? So that's just my take. That's just my personal take.
Yeah, no, no,
Train.
it makes sense. You gotta like you said, you gotta be balanced, and you gotta, as well as the physical, you gotta get the mental. And I like how
Yeah.
you brought up the nutritional part. Now I know you're big into nutrition and that angle as well. I
Yeah.
want to know if you could kind of tell us some myths that people have about fitness and dieting and eating and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I think the most common and the biggest thing is like carbs are bad for you, and that couldn't be further from the truth. They are definitely not bad for you. Um, you need them. Your brain needs them. Your brain needs them to work. And in fact, this is like I'm gonna toot my own horn here and just say like I'm gonna drop a nugget here. If you don't have carbs, your body's going to make them anyway. Okay. And it's going to make them in a very expensive way. Okay. So I'm going to nerd out a little bit. Is that cool with y'all? Okay.
No problem,
So,
no problem.
so when you eat protein, a protein can be changed to a carb. Okay, so they're made up of the same way, except for the protein, I think, has like a nitrogen molecule on it. So if you don't have enough carbs, your body has to have them. It has to have them. So it will take protein and make a carb. So what this means is like that expensive steak that you bought or that expensive chicken parmesan or whatever that you bought, if you don't have any carbs, it's going to take that chicken and make carbs. So to me, that's like taking, $100 bills to light your house, to warm your house. Why would you want to use such an expensive carb when you could just eat some carbs and they taste good and they're delicious?
That's crazy. I didn't even know that. Like that, our
Right?
body, if we don't eat it, the body will make it anyway.
Has
That
to.
I didn't even know.
Has
And
to.
because I got somebody in my house that said the other day, "Yo, no more carbs, no more carbs." You know what I mean? I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell them
no.
what you said.
Well, your body will create it anyway. So that's the thing. So that leads me into like the keto diet, right? So a lot of people are onto keto, and like the reason there's the reason why keto works to me, and from what I've read, the reason why and my experience, the reason why it works is just people are being much more restrictive. The same thing with intermittent fasting. You can tell me all the benefits to it, but at the end of the day, you're starting to restrict yourself, and that's often why people end up losing weight. And they start choosing healthier food. That's what it normally comes down to. And again, your body's going to make those carbs anyway. So it doesn't really matter if you're not eating, you know, rice or potato. It's going to make those carbs anyway. So if you look at how a keto diet works, you can't eat a certain amount of protein on it. If you go to sites and punch in like what the keto macros are, they're going to tell you you can't eat a certain amount of protein, and that is for the reason that I just stated.
Because
Right?
if you eat
Protein is
it,
going to
your
turn
body's
into a
gonna
carb
keep
anyway,
producing it. So
Yeah.
okay,
right?
that makes
Oh,
sense. And you know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
does.
You don't think about it like that. So it's good that you're here
Hmm.
explaining it.
It
Right.
does make a lot of sense. So when you went, because I know a lot of people they go from, before everybody, it was a vegetarian thing,
Yeah.
then it was a keto thing, and now
Yeah.
everybody's on the
Yeah.
vegan wave. So when it comes to that, like how like is the vegan diet, how similar is the vegan and the keto, and what's the difference between them, like,
Okay.
because a lot of people don't really know the
Okay.
difference between
Okay.
keto
There,
and vegan.
okay. So there's a lot of different ones. I don't even know all of them. There's like pescatarian where you just eat
Yeah.
fish. There's vegan where everything is plant based. Then there's vegetarian where it's just no flesh. So you can eat like eggs, cheese, et cetera, but you're not having like beef or chicken or shrimp or whatever,
Hmm.
right? And then there's keto where you can have everything, but you're not really taking in a lot of carbs. You're minimal carbs, and you're getting a lot of your calories from fats. So that's kind of how that works. What I think about vegan and like being vegan and vegetarian, I tried it. I wanted to know what it was like. I did it for a bit, and I have nothing bad to say about it. What I will say are, again, this is just kind of my thoughts. What I will say is there's a lot of research showing that meats and stuff are carcinogenic and they could be toxic and cancerous and et cetera, et cetera. So, and what, again, just from my experience and what I've seen is I've seen that people that have used like a plant-based diet normally live longer, like they're healthier in the long run.
Mhm.
But when it comes to like being an elite performer, I don't know any Michael Jordans, any LeBron James. I don't know any what's his name?
Usain Bolt, none of
Patrick
them.
Mahomes. I
You say
don't
none
know
of these
any
guys
of
are
them
vegetarian?
that are vegetarian. That's
Hey,
all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
So,
yeah, but
Don't,
but
they say
again,
dot dot dot. You leave
so,
the
while you
rest to us.
message me,
so,
while you message me, don't comment, don't message me, don't come after me.
I like how you left it.
That's
You
no,
just
all
left
I'm
it.
no.
saying.
Dot dot dot.
So is that basically like when people say you are what you eat? Like, do
Mhm.
you find that saying to be true, or is that something that you say, you know what? No, it's not. That narrative is not correct.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you are what you eat. Like, yeah. To answer the question, I don't think you are what you eat, but it's not that simple because it's also about what you do, right? If you like, so I don't know if you guys watch. There's this podcast on YouTube called I Am Athlete, right? With Brandon Marshall. They're all
Yeah,
NFL
I've seen
players,
I've
right?
seen it before. I've seen
Yeah.
it before.
Right. So
Mhm.
Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco is always there's always this debate of like it's Chad versus science. Chad Johnson only eats McDonald's and like junk food for the most part, and he's healthy, but he is no slacker, right? He works hard every day. Every day he works extremely hard. To bring me to this point, I want to make this point is that I think a lot of people think that like you have to be super duper clean in order to lose weight, and that's not really it. It's just about being consistent, like I said, right? Consistent, and like when you do decide to be an asshole and have some junk, you don't go way off the deep end and have everything on the table. You kind of know where that line is and draw that line like, okay, I'm gonna have the milkshake and I'm gonna have the fries, but I'm not gonna have the burger. Or I'm gonna have the burger, but I'm not gonna have the supreme Taco Bell fry. What was it, the Taco Supreme or the
Fry
fried
Not the
chicken?
supreme,
fries
yeah.
supreme.
Fried
You,
chicken.
look at you don't even know. You don't
Everything
even
on
know.
it.
Get it right, my
You
friend.
see
Oh
Fry
it,
wait,
right? You just
supreme.
don't have everything on it,
Um,
plus the milkshake, plus the apple turnover. You see what
okay.
I
So
mean?
so
So
then
hold
Mike.
on.
So okay, go
So
ahead. Go
when
ahead,
people,
bro.
sorry, I have a quick question. So when I have, like, sometimes when people go in and they order, like, I want like, yo, 2 Big Macs, a large fries,
Yeah.
I want 4 apple pies, and then they turn around and they say they want a Diet Coke. Does that make a difference? Like,
Of
does
course
the
it
Diet
makes you
Coke
different.
actually balance what
Of course.
all
It
of
makes
that?
you
I
feel
just I
good.
just need to know, because if
It
that's the
makes
case,
you
I should
feel
be.
good. It makes you
Oh,
feel like you're doing
okay.
something.
I always see those ones. Yo, Brooklyn,
You
I'm
feel
so glad
me?
you asked that. Because you're like, yo, you did not just order a Diet Coke,
I
And
bro.
do
then you
that.
say
I'm
a
not gonna
Diet
lie. I
Coke.
do it sometimes. And it's just for me to feel good about myself. I know what I'm doing is wrong. I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm doing it to feel good.
Okay, so then Mike, so then let me ask you, since we're talking about fast food and
Yeah.
and ordering the Diet Coke, right?
Yeah.
How can people knock the sugar and the fast food addiction? Because some would say it is
Mm-hmm.
an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love fast
So that
food.
and that's the thing about eating junk food. It's not okay. So there's studies that there's this guy. I don't have the information to quote and give you guys right now, but there's a study of this guy. I think he just ate like it was like either like chocolate eclairs or Twinkies or whatever, and he lost weight, but he was eating below his calorie requirement, and it's
Uh,
very hard to do that because that might be like 3 Twinkies for the day. So you can imagine, could you yam three
Wow.
Twinkies in a day and be full and be okay for the day?
No.
Very hard to do that, right? So on top of it not giving you the feeling of satiation, like the feeling of being full, you get the addiction piece that you were just talking about. So you start craving more sugar. That's the problem with sugar. Sugar is not necessarily directly what makes you fat. It's the craving of more sugar and all the like other things that it
So
changes,
we
your
gotta curb
insulin
the
levels.
craving.
Yeah, the insulin level responses and all of that. That's where the problem is. It's not just the calories alone. The way that you kick that, or the best way to deal with that, is just making sure that you have good food ready, right? I think if you like, the way to not eat a ton of fast food and junk food is to be prepared for when you're hungry, so that you're not like, oh, I'm hungry, like, and you're panicked and you need something immediately. So as you're passing McDonald's, you're like, yo, let me just drive to McDonald's real quick because I'm hungry right now.
Yo, you know what? That's so crazy that you said that. Just to jump in, sorry to jump in.
Mhm.
But I've also I don't eat meat. I'm in between like vegetarian and vegan, right? So
Okay.
same thing. The hardest thing I found for myself is eating on time and on a schedule. Over the
Mhm.
last couple years, yo, Mike, I'll prepare like five different foods that I need,
Mhm.
and I'll rather have them just there when I'm ready, because I find as soon as I'm hungry, if the food's there, that's my best
Yeah.
chance of eating a full meal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm running into the kitchen getting some crackers or some bread or
Mhm.
something small. So I 100% agree, and have realized having the food ready is a great benefit.
Yeah, man,
It's
having your food ready and knowing like portions too, right? When you have your food ready and you start to realize portions, a lot of times we eat and we don't even realize like what exactly we're eating, and that's a huge problem. Again, when we look at like our panel here, we're all black people here. We're probably all from the West Indies, or some type of African descent, and our dishes are just they have way too much carbs and shit in it, right? Like, we know that when you go to wherever and you say, give me the jerk chicken, large jerk chicken with rice and peas, how much pieces of chicken are they giving you? I'll wait for you to tell me
because
how
Jada
much
man
pieces of chicken
counts
are
how
they
much
giving you.
chicken the
They're
people
giving
them
you
give them.
two
So tell
little
them
pinky
Jada
finger
man.
drumsticks like
Yeah.
this. Two
And
little pinky finger
And you're
And
drumsticks
getting
no
like
more
this.
dumpling,
chicken.
you're getting
right.
banana, two festival.
You're gonna get one crate of rice, a whole crate of rice,
Wally Parais.
one little thing of coleslaw, and you're like, okay, so I'm just eating rice this meal. That's great. I'm just
And a
having
little
rice.
bit
I
of
might as well
oxtail
just ask for the
gravy.
rice, right? You don't know. You say, can I have a chicken breast? Oh, we out to that. So you're having your
The
chicken
leg.
chicken leg, which is the fattiest part, highest in calorie. This is again like where you are unprepared. If you are unprepared and you don't know the portions that you have. Once you start preparing meals, you start to be like, oh, like, this is actually a normal portion. The whole crate of rice that they give me is not normal. That's not what I'm supposed to eat. But because it's in front of you
You
and
feel like
that's
you
how
have
it's
to
given
eat
to you,
it.
you're like, well, you just eat until like it's finished, right? I
Yeah.
tell like clients sometimes to even like try putting your food on a smaller plate. Try putting
Oh,
Yeah,
your
that
food on a
helps.
smaller
Yeah,
plate,
I've heard that as
that
actually
helps.
right?
a tip from a lot of people. Use smaller plates, and
That
that'll
Yeah,
help you.
helps. That
use
really
Yeah.
smaller
helps.
plates. When you go to the kitchen, even if you're gonna eat some chips, don't eat out of the bag. Take the chips out, put it on a plate, and leave. So now, even if you get the temptation of like, I want some more chips, it's like it's an effort. Now you have to get up, go back to the kitchen, open
Yeah.
up the cover, pull back out chips, blah blah blah. So now you're making it. This is like, again, when we're talking about reward system, is like, this is the opposite side to that now, is like making it challenging
Making a
for
little
you to
harder.
do the
Yeah.
thing that you're not supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So
So
how
let me hold on one sec, Brooke. Let me ask this. Okay, so let me go back to what you're talking about with the you didn't see Michael and LeBron as no vegetarian or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, with that, I would say yes, they probably weren't, because of the Western civilization, as far as Wendy's, when the vegan piece and the whole vegetarian thing sort of became mainstream, right? Like you didn't
Mhm.
really hear of it. You heard of the ital with the natis, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
you,
yeah.
you, you yeah you seldomly heard somebody was vegetarian. Vegan came about, I've heard, in the last, I guess, 10 years or whatnot, or maybe earlier than or later than that. So
It's become a
where
lot
I'm
more mainstream now.
exactly, so where
You're
I'm
saying.
going is, I think, yeah, on the other side of the world there's a lot of people that eat cleaner, because I see it with the different ethnicities and how they do their thing. And yeah, especially with the Asian community, I mean, they eat certain things too, but I know there's um they divulge a lot in teas and herbs and certain things like that, and you see the long life, speaking to what you're talking about with longevity with life. So the next piece is in connection to what you're eating. Earlier I said, as you get older, as you age, the body changes. It's something
Hmm.
that I don't have scientific knowledge on, but I've
Hmm.
seen it.
Hmm.
I live by experience. So I've seen it with myself, I've seen it with others, and it seems like they're unable to get rid of some of that weight that they put on. So tell us a bit about that transitional period for some people that are listening, because they may feel, I want to get back to when I was 22. Some people can do it and some people can't or are unable to. What's the deal with that?
Okay, so um, I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna speak here. If I don't answer the question or if I miss anything, just let me know. Um, a few weeks ago, I saw somebody was jogging down the road, and I was like, you gotta. So I kind of give her. I coach her and I instructed her. I'm like, you gotta work faster. You gotta move faster. You gotta jog faster. And she's like, I can't remember. She's like, I'm 54. And I'm like, and you're gonna stay looking like 54 if you move like you're 54, right? So what I'm saying, like the reason why I'm saying that is because as you age, yes, your body changes. But if you want to feel younger, if you want to move like you're younger, that intent has to be there to move that way. You can't move slow and broken and expect to get better, right? There has to be an intent. You have to start pushing that envelope to get there. Um, I think a lot of things that I think that one of the biggest things that happen as we age, though, is that um, just talking about nutrition, is that we tend to eat like how we've always ate before, and that doesn't really change much. For some people that does, but most of the time people just kind of continue eating the way that they always eat. But again, if you're not moving like how you used to move before, then you can't eat the way that you are eating, the way that you used to eat, right? So like if you worked at a factory job and you were go 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 all the time, but now that you're retired, you sit at home and you watch, whatever Netflix or whatever it is that you do. You play around a golf, or sit down in the back and drink your beer. Then yeah, you can't eat the same because now your calorie expenditure isn't the same. You're not burning the same amount of calories. You're not moving the same, right? So I don't know if that answers the question, but the biggest, again, just to reiterate, the biggest thing is like you have to move like how you want to move. You have to push for that to happen, and the eating has to match that.
So when you you're saying the eating has to match that. So when you are training, you're doing your personal training or you're doing like group sessions and things of that nature. I know
Mhm.
sometimes people come to you with meal plans.
Mhm.
If myself and Wiggs and Jada Man was to come, how would you give us how do you set out your meal plans? Is it based on what we want our body types to look like? Is it more based on our health? Is it more based on what do you base everybody's meal plan
Yeah,
on?
so it's a little bit of all of that. So what I do first is I find out, like I said, what we talked about earlier. I need to know how you're eating now, right? If you, for example, like let's say we're talking about Wiggs is eating 6,000 calories right now, then I'm not gonna say, hey, like we got to go to 4,000 calories, and he wants to gain weight. His metabolism is running so fast at 6,000 calories. He needs more food. I need to find him a way to get him more food. right? On the flip side, if he's like Mike, like I need to lose weight, but he's only eating, one burger a day, that's not going to make it. I have to give you more food, right? So when people come to me, I have to find out first, how are you eating right now? Forget the goal. We have to make you healthy now. We have to like normalize stuff. Whether you want to gain weight, whether you want to lose weight, we have to get you meeting
Get
at
you
least the
balance. Yeah.
threshold. We have to get you. This is where you're supposed to be, right? So you have to be at least here or above. Then we look at like, okay, where do you want to go now? What do you want to do? Do you want to get lean? Do you want to get ripped? Do you want to get super jacked? Do you want to just add a little bumper and get fat a little bit? I don't know, right? That's when we figure that out. And as we're figuring that out, and as I'm learning your body, then that's where like supplements and vitamins come in. Now I can say, oh, like you're really, really tired, and like I noticed this about your skin. Okay, maybe we need some vitamin D. Maybe like we need to like reset your insulin or try to like tackle your insulin levels or whatever, right? We start looking at like, okay, where are the missing pieces based on like how you're working out, how you're functioning, how you're sleeping, how you're reacting, how you're recovering, how you're eating going, right? Maybe we need to give you a probiotic. Maybe you're great. Maybe you're going to the bathroom all the time. But we have it's a step process, right? I can't just off the bat say, okay, we're going to give you all of this and I don't know anything about you, right? I'm just trying to get you to normal first,
Yeah.
then go from there.
Yeah. That
Okay,
definitely makes sense.
that makes sense. I always wonder that because when I'm not gonna lie, when Super K,
Mhm.
I know a lot of you guys know who Super K is. Like Super K, when he worked with me before, me and one of my friends before, and he kicked us out and told us
Mhm.
not to come back because it was one of those things where it wasn't no bad thing. It was just that
Yeah,
with me, it's like I'm a dancer, right? So it's just
yeah,
like certain things I was doing. It was to me, I was just like, okay, it was too much, like the
mhm.
weights and all of that type of stuff, and I wasn't motivated enough to do it. So he was just like, listen, at the end of the day, I see that your head's not in it and whatever. He goes, dance is a great way for cardio. He told me, he said, you doing dance
Yeah,
is going to keep you fit and all of
yeah.
that. But the thing about it, I was trying to gain weight, so he was trying to show me
Mm.
like what to do and all these type of things. But it was more at that time, it was more a mental thing for me. It was like I went
Yeah,
in there and I kind of seen other girls and their bodies were like, I seen what he did to their bodies, and I was like, bro, like I'm trying to get there. But it was like the work that they were putting in, my mind wasn't there mentally. And he
yeah,
told me like, doing when you're exercising, you have to be there mentally, because if you're not
yeah,
there mentally, there's no point of you even doing it.
yeah.
So in that case, how would I, like, I'm really trying to gain weight, so it's
Mhm.
like I don't really eat that much because I'm a very extremely picky person, but I love vegetables. Like, I don't mind, I
Yeah.
can eat veggies all day and fruits
Mhm.
all day, but I know that's not enough. So what would you advise for somebody small like me?
Well, okay. So as you said, it's mental. So the biggest thing, your biggest tool is, we talked about this earlier, is your mind. So if we were like if we, I don't know how personal you feel like getting right now, but if you came to me right now and you're like, okay, like we're doing this assessment, my first question is, okay, why do you want to lose weight? I mean, why do you
Oh,
want to gain weight? Why do you want to gain weight? And not just like, oh, because I want to look a certain way, but like why? But like why? And I'm going to keep digging until we get to the deepest root of like why. And then when we have that why, mentally, normally you should be checked in on your own, right?
Yeah.
Because you should always have that why. And I'll give
And
you an
the
example.
real
So I
why.
always,
Yeah.
yeah, I always say this to like clients and stuff when they come with me and we start like, I'm just meeting them for the first time. I ask this question, right? And the example that I normally give is like, if I tell you tomorrow, I want you to just run down the road. Tomorrow, wake up at 5 a.m. and run down the road. No reason. Just do it every day. All three of you, none of us are getting up at 4 o'clock and just running down the road because Mike said so. But if I say there's $1,000 at the end of the road, one of these days you're gonna have $1,000 at the end of the road. Now there's a reason,
an
right?
incentive, yeah.
And that's why you need to know your why. You need to know, why am I running down to the end of the road? Because if I don't really know, then why am I doing it? You know what I'm saying? My why was like, I was always really skinny and then I was always fat. And I was like, I just don't really want to do that. And in the middle, I was an athlete. And that's when I felt my best. And my why was like, I just want to feel my best. I always want to be my best. There's only one mic, and I want to present the best mic for the world. They deserve that. If I have kids, they deserve that. My mom deserves that. My sister deserves that. Everybody that's important to me deserves that. So it became a reason outside of myself. I wanted to give my mom, my sister, my family, my girl the best mic ever. And that was my reason. Like, I it wasn't even a choice. You don't have to ask me to go to the gym. I'm going to the gym.
It's just in you now.
It
I
was just
like
in me,
that. I
right?
like that. I like
Right.
that. I
And
like
like
that.
that's when you can do that. Like I found that that was like a huge life lesson in competing for me, was like that, and knowing that like I can, like when I think that like I just, there's no way, because I never thought I was going to be a bodybuilder. I never thought that I was big enough. I never thought that I would be able to step on stage. And then like, just rewinding like 2 years ago, I was almost Mr. Canada. I was third in Canada as a super heavyweight. Never in my wildest dreams, never in my wildest dreams did I think that I could be up there. But I had a why, and your why is always what's going to drive you. So to stay motivated, the very first thing you have to do is really figure out, why do I want to gain weight? Why do I want to gain weight? And then when you figure out that, then you can start playing around with, okay, this workout style doesn't work for me. I have to lift weights, but maybe it means I have to do like some type of circuit training and it has to be slower. Maybe it means like I have to be outside. Maybe it means like
Yeah, I think I need to
whatever.
get
Maybe it means
outside.
your workouts are shorter, but you work out very often. Maybe it means your workouts are very long, but you work out not as frequent, right? And you just figure out what works for you there. But the motivation to just go and do it is not so much the problem anymore.
All right.
Excellent. How many
All right.
contestants were there? Sorry, how many before you go? We can.
Okay. So that year, I think there was 22 in my class. So the super heavyweight class is like, those are the big boys, right?
Mhm.
So up until that year, you normally don't see a lot of that in Canada. There's normally like 6, 5, 7. This year there was 22. There's 22 guys in my class, right? And
Oh,
when I
And
say
you
Canada,
came
like,
third?
23 next year.
yeah, so when I say Canada, like, you have to, so the way it works is you have to like you have to win a regional show or place at a regional show. Okay, then you go to provincials and you have to
Mhm.
win there, and then all of those winners from the different provinces compete at the Canadian Nationals,
That's
right?
crazy.
So
Okay, so Mike, since you're talking
Congrats.
about
Congrats
thank
on the
you, thank you.
since you can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Since you're talking about the competitions, right? I got a
Mhm,
couple quick questions before we
mhm.
close it off, right? Now,
Yeah.
tell me your most important competition that you've been in, and
Mhm.
also your most meaningful. Whether you've
Mm.
learned something, whether you got over a challenge.
Hmm. It's funny. I've learned something from all of them. The first one that I ever did, again, was just like, oh, I could do this. Like, I never thought I could even do this. I could do this. And ironically, I won my first one. Somebody just came to me and they're like, oh, you should do this. And I'm like, yeah, I've been thinking about it, but like, I always back out. And they were just like, you have to do this. I'm forcing you to do this. And I did it. And I was like, oh, like, I did it. The second one taught me humbleness, because I didn't do well at that one. And it taught me like resilience, that like, to get back up and fight and like go for what you want. Like, nothing's going to be handed to you easy. It's never just going to fall into place the first time. That's not if whether you believe in God or the universe or Buddha or whatever, like the path is not always like as clear as you see it, right? It
Yeah.
it zigzags up, down, around, underneath, and then you arrive if you want it bad enough. The third one was different for me because I was just like, again, I was just like, I never thought this would happen. I never thought this would happen. And then the fourth was again just more like resilience again. So like they've all had their meaningful one, but I think placing third in Canada was probably the most meaningful because again, I never to this
You never
day
thought you would
I
be there.
never thought I never ever thought like that could be me. I would never I just didn't picture that.
All right, all right. So let me ask you two more quick questions.
Yeah.
Right, these are questions from the viewers. When we're talking about bodybuilding, weightlifting, training,
Yeah.
anything like that, everybody I know has either a day that they hate. So
Hmm.
whether it's leg day, back day, neck day, arm day. So we
Yeah.
want to know what is the day that you regret, and also the second part is everybody has a cheat day. So what does
Mm.
your what's
Boy.
Mike's worst
Ah,
day and what does
ah,
Mike's cheat day look like? Whether it's something
oh,
you're doing or eating, what's your cheat day and what's your worst day?
okay. Man, you guys are gonna make me. My clients might be watching this, man. You're gonna make me look real bad. Maybe look real bad. Okay. Well, my day that so the way it works in terms of the days that I don't like training. That's what you asked first, right?
Yeah, or yeah, like because everybody has I hate it's leg day.
Yeah.
I hate leg
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. So the day that I hate training, like I always hate training the body part that I think looks well or looks best, right? So for a long time, like I had really good legs. I didn't like training my legs because I was like, well, they look how I want them to look. So why am I training them now? Right now, like I find my chest is something that I don't really like training again for the same reason. And then on the flip side, I always start to like training the body part that I don't think looks the best. I start
Okay,
to enjoy training that part.
makes sense.
Yeah. So I've that's just how it's always been for me. In terms of like cheat, oh man, like I do it all. I do it all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a foodie, man. I like food. I like food. Oh, if I had to name one, I can't name one thing. I can't do it,
So
man.
is it on a cheat day? Are you
What's your
cooking something
kryptonite?
different, or are you going to a restaurant? Are you looking for something sweet?
I
Are
don't
you
like
are you
sweets.
not are you sleeping in that
See?
day?
I don't like sweets. No, I'm not like I've never really liked like chocolate and stuff like that. Like the only sweets that I like cheesecake, and that's probably it. Like I like cheesecake.
So what's your
Um,
kryptonite?
ah,
Every superhero has a kryptonite. So what's yours?
I really like sushi. I really like sushi.
And sushi's
I,
healthy. That's good.
It
Sushi's
yeah,
healthy,
is.
see, and
man.
that's why it's like it's not even really a cheat though, right? It's not even really a cheat though.
Listen,
I like
you know what we'll call it, Mike? We'll call it a treat day, not a cheat
A
day.
a
treat
treat
day. A
day.
Day.
treat
Yeah,
day.
I like that. I
We'll,
like
we'll,
that. I
we'll
like
flip
that.
it
I'm gonna
up.
go
We'll
with
flip
that. I
it.
don't even have cheat days. I have treat days. You know what
Treat
I'm
days.
saying?
We'll go with that moving
I'm
forward.
good. I'm good.
Well, that's good. You know what I mean? That's even more motivation for the viewers because we don't need cheat days. We just need
We need
treat days
treat
because
days.
when
Yeah.
we're doing things good, we got to reward ourselves, like you said.
Yeah. And just like if you don't mind, let me add to that.
Yeah, for sure.
I cheat days is a term maybe we need to like get rid of. You know what I mean? I don't think you're cheating. Again, you're just you live within like the means of what you're trying to create. I like when I give people like a diet, I'll tell them unless you're a competitor, I'm going to tell you straight up. I want you to follow this plan 80 to 90% of the time. The other times, live life. You know what I mean? Have your drink, have your cheesecake, have your cake, have your Timbits, your donuts. Enjoy life, right? Like food is a part of like life, I feel. Like it's something that should be enjoyed too, right? Laugh, love, eat food, love one another. That's just a part of life. So I don't really like the term cheat where like somebody feels bad that they've like done this.
Yeah.
It's just like live within a means. Like this is again, it should be a treat day. Like I'm gonna treat myself to this. And I don't want like it shouldn't be like an emotional attachment that like, okay, if I'm good, I'm gonna have
I'm gonna,
this.
yeah,
Or
I'll
if
have
I
a
feel
treat day.
shit,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have this. But it shouldn't you shouldn't feel like crucified because you decided like I'm gonna have a cinnamon bun today, right?
Yeah.
That's just my take.
No, well, that's a great answer, and I think it's some great advice for the viewers as well.
Mhm.
Mike, I want to thank you very much for taking your time to like join us on the episode today. The
For
amount
sure.
of the amount of information and the amount of tips that you provided with the viewers, I personally know people that would have to pay hundreds of dollars for even some of this information. So I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
thank you like from the bottom of our hearts for joining the show.
Yeah.
Before we go, please let the viewers know what Muscle Coach Mike has in store, if there's any competitions they have coming up next, if they need some
Yeah.
assistance, how they can contact you.
Hold
Okay.
on, hold
So
on, hold on. Muscle
yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
Before he starts, let me tell you that what you should have did today, what we should have done was put up a before and after picture. No, because it just shows you that it's real. Like as
Yeah.
far as if you have that vision and you put in that work, it's real. So when I say you seen the picture that we put up with him super chiseled, super ripped, as he said, almost 300 pounds. There you go, right there. You see that picture, right? That image right there. What did you weigh? What would you say you weighed in high school, brother?
Oh, high school. Ah, man, like maybe like so I'm 6 foot. Like mid to end of high school, I was maybe 180 pounds.
180 to almost 300
180
pounds.
pounds. Yeah,
And you've seen
180
that
pounds.
muscle,
And
muscle,
that, yeah,
muscle.
that
Yeah.
and that looks like 300 pounds of muscle.
So
Yeah.
I'm not that there. I'm not 300. There, I'm probably like 240. That was again. That was like
240.
2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So I've put on some muscle since then. But
More?
I've also put on some fat too,
Oh,
right?
okay,
Because
okay.
Mhm.
I'm not competing right now again. So I don't want people to look at that and be like, I'm like that all the time. I try to
Mm-mm.
stay close to that though. I try to stay close to that, just not
All right, my
that
brother.
all the time.
Yeah, man. So let them know. Let them know what you got coming up. What's going on
Yeah.
with you? How can they reach you?
Yeah. So, well, my Instagram is Muscle Coach Mike, musclecoach.mike. My website is musclecoaches.com. But for you guys, if anybody is looking for some type of help, I am going to be having a 30-day challenge. You can go to musclecoachchallenges.ca, and you can sign up there, or you can email me at musclecoaches. Sorry, you can email me at musclecoaches at gmail.com and just give me your information and I can sign you up. The challenge will start in about 2 weeks. It's a 30-day challenge. I'll give you like nutritional advice. You get a ton of free stuff. And this was just basically a way for people to kind of like get to know me, for me to help a ton of people for either free or like at a really, 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 really low buy-in. And then like later on, if you like what you get or if you want more results or whatever, you can contact me. But at least you have this and you know like you can know the basics, right? You can get the foundational stuff out of the way. Yeah, but thank you guys for having me. That's a great show,
For
man. I
sure.
Thank
appreciate it so
you.
much. This was a lot of fun. I hope I helped you guys helped some people out and I gave you guys the answers to kind of what you're looking for. I know I tend to ramble on a lot, so
No,
my
man,
apologies.
No, it was good
you were
advice.
great,
It was
man.
good.
We
You
got a
were
lot of
dropping
feedback,
gems
but
and stuff.
I think after the summer we may have to call back to see why people get a winter body even though they don't want it.
Listen,
That's a
a
good
all
one.
season body.
That's a
People
big
That's
one.
a
tell
That's
me
a
good
big
one.
one.
they need a
That's
all
a that's a
season
good one.
body.
It's
So we're
because
gonna
sweet boy Jada man has them lock up,
ah
with his
that's a
sequence.
Hey,
I'm
that's
gonna
a
hush
put
it
it
up.
on my name.
Like,
I want to
oh
do that 30.
Lord.
I want to do that 30-day challenge. Jada Man
Yeah,
Wigs. I think we all should do it.
yeah, man.
Let
I
And see
hold
who
appreciate
on.
can
it,
last the
man. Like,
longest.
hold
See
on.
who
I
pops out
appreciate.
first. I
Yeah,
think
man.
Jada
Just
Man will
like,
pop out first.
yeah, I
Hold on.
appreciate it, guys.
Have you seen my body? What's wrong with this girl?
Are you
Yo,
crazy? Are you, gentlemen?
yo,
Stop it right now. Stop it right now. Stop
yo,
it right
Mike,
now.
Yo, Mike,
Mike, how?
you see what we got to deal with? You see what we got
Just
to deal
because
with
you
every
look
week,
like
right?
that, just because you look like that doesn't mean that you're fit. Doesn't mean you can go
Mike,
jogging. Doesn't mean that you
how
can do
long?
anything.
Hold on, Mike. How long?
No. Looks can be
Mike,
deceiving, Jada
how
man.
long? How long do our viewers get to access this 30-day challenge? Because I want people to go
So
and access this challenge here.
yeah, so it should be up and running. We're just working out some kinks. There's gonna be like, so when I talk about like this challenge, like I spent time, money, and effort into this. This is not just like some bullshit like, oh, 30-day challenge. I'm gonna get you to squat with like your cat in your living room and hold up a jug of milk over your head. Like it's none of that bullshit. Like I'm not for that. So
Yeah.
this is real stuff. Like there's instructional videos teaching you specifics of how to do an exercise, how to execute it properly, what you should avoid doing, what you should try to do. So it should be up in about 2 weeks. We're looking to have it up in 2 weeks. Again, if you message me or you give me your email or you sign up on the site, there will be information rolled out to you for when it's going to start. Um, yeah, so
Mike, let
should
us
be
know.
about 2 weeks.
Mike, let Jada Man keep in contact with Jada Man. Let him know the week that it rolls out.
Okay.
So either the either the Wednesday before or the Wednesday after, we'll bring
Yeah.
you on for like a 10 minutes so you can let the
Yeah.
viewers know and we
Yeah.
can get
Yeah.
that challenge started. And
Yeah, man.
we'll put Jada Man up to the challenge for 30
Yeah.
days.
I'm doing
Yes.
it. It's gonna be me versus Jada man. This is if he
Okay.
wants to talk.
Okay. Okay.
So we
Okay.
got it.
Okay?
We got an official. We got an official one, and I think we were in talks. I think you got something planned, and we're gonna be sorting out a Viewpoints promo code for some of the
Yeah.
services that you
Yeah.
have provided. So
Yes,
Mike,
sir.
so get that set up within the next 2 weeks. We'll
Yep.
call you on, and we'll introduce that promo, the challenge, and the code, and we'll get some of the Viewpoints viewers in shape for the summer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me so much, man.
All
Thank you
right,
for
No
love,
problem,
Biggie.
Mike.
coming.
Thanks again, and you have yourself a great evening.
Salute,
Easy.
my friend.
Yo, man,
Yeah,
that was great, man. I'm glad he was on and he answered. Like I said before, he answered a lot of questions that I know people are wondering and wanted to know.
you, Jada man, don't try embarrass me with the man and the little workout boy. You see me, body? Don't try to play yourself. Don't try to play yourself.
Don't make me
Okay?
take off the sequence, you know.
Yeah,
Yo,
please
but
do. You should have took it off from the beginning of the show.
That shirt. That we are, the discussion
Look at
about
him
the
with his.
shirt.
Watch him.
Look.
Watch
The,
him.
at the end of the episode, the man still a fancy up himself.
He's still a fancy up himself on the show,
Yeah,
dog.
no, I'm surprised he didn't come on with a marina today. To try to
That's
yeah,
what
show
I'm
up
saying.
to try
That's
to
what I
show
thought
up
he was
Mike.
gonna come out with the little hat cocked to the side. You understand it?
but yo, it was a good show though. Let's get to that real talk,
I think
shall
I
we?
think I think it's time to let them know what's what.
Yes, yes. So this is the real talk segment with Jada Man.
Oh,
That
please.
real talk segment with Jada Man, I tell you. So we're looking at that summer body, right? That summer body. How do you get it? What are some tips? What are some tricks? I'm gonna give you this. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Once again, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Health and fitness is a journey. The best way to play the game is to get in the game. Reward yourself along the way. The summer body, yes, it can be obtained, but it's specific to your body type. It can even be purchased, but the long term win is in the health of staying fit, eating well, and all of the physical and mental health benefits that come with you putting in that actual work. So, in the words of our illustrious muscle coach Mike, I want to leave you with this: things that are weak, break. And that's real talk with Jada Man.
That's real. That's
Hooray!
real. That's
I
Real
real.
heard
talk.
you, man.
I like that. You summarized it up
Not
good.
like that chicken bone, yeah. It nah break. Nah, do not. Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah,
Now,
man.
people, I want to let everybody know if you're tuning in Remember to like, subscribe, and follow Viewpoints on all networks. It's a weekly show. We say knowledge is power. We are here
Hmm.
every week. I want to shout out Muscle Coach Mike for joining us today and providing us with all this useful information. People, we got a 30-day challenge coming up. Look out for the ads in 2 weeks. We got the two contestants right there. We want to
Yo,
see the comments.
wait,
Easy, honey.
don't make me show, hey, don't make me lift it to
Don't
Listen,
do
the.
it.
they
Don't do it.
don't
Don't
want
do it.
to see
Save it.
all of
Save it.
that.
Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Save it. Save it. Save it. Don't do it yet. Don't show it
All
yet.
right, all right.
Don't show it
Anyway,
yet.
don't make me, yo,
But yo,
ladies,
love
I
to
got this.
everybody out there. Love to everybody. I'm gonna crush Brooklyn, and we're out.
Wait.
Big up
I'm gonna
everybody
crush.
that tuned in.
I'm
It's
gonna
the
crush him
view.
like his shirt. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna crush your watch like tough crackers. They're
Yo,
done, my youth.
my money's on Brooklyn for the
Straight
challenge.
Yo,
up,
that's what's really going in.
straight up.
Run the
It's the
tune with it.
viewpoint. It's the viewpoints.
You see these? Mm. Oh shit, my chicken.